So I have a question for you.
Yep.
In life, I think it's fairly common for us to get excited about the things that we decide that we want to do, whether that's pursuing a new venture, whether that's embarking on a new hobby, or whether that's chasing a very specific goal or dream. My question to you is, do you believe that you should share those dreams? And if so, who should you share them with?
I was gonna say something. I was like, hell no.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, you should only share it with those that you're close with, but also be very cautious of the people that you're close with. And I'm not, speaking as from experience, but I'm speaking from experience. And what I mean by that is definitely share with the people that you truly, and I mean truly, truly trust. And even sometimes that people that you truly trust can, do some stuff that will diminish from, you succeeding in those dreams. But that's a whole nother topic. So in my perspective, for me, like I share obviously my dreams with you guys, because low key our dreams are kind of all intertwined, really, if we really think about it. So it's almost like it benefits us. At the same time, if I try and do you dirty, technically I'm messing up my dream as well. You know what I mean? I obviously share my dreams with Nicole. People that I don't share my dreams with are obviously people that most of the time I'm not really doing business with. Even, certain people in family that I may not be as close with. So I think you have to be very, very selective on who you want to and decide on your own, because this can be person to person, decide on your own if you think sharing your dream with this person is going to benefit you or not. So it's kind of a messed up way to think about it, but it really is like, is this going to benefit them? Is this going to benefit me?
Gotcha. So
Does that make sense?
So do you ask them, like, or do you ask yourself, like, what's the purpose of me sharing this with them? Like, what am I taking away from it? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, kind of. Like in this aspect, if me sharing my dream with you, if it's just to tell you, for me to get excited about, like, what's the purpose of me sharing it? Just so you can go tell someone else.
Yeah.
Whereas sharing it in depth with you, it's like, I know your dream, you know my dream. It's like we're both helping each other's dreams succeed. So why not share it with you? You know what I mean? Mm. And that sounds, when I say it, it sounds kind of messed up, but for me, it just works. Because it's like, if I'm telling people that, like, it doesn't benefit them, then I'm almost diluting my dream in my aspect. Because it's like, who are they going to tell? Do they even care? Not that that really matters, but it kind of does. Because it's like, what if you got a solid dream that no one else has thought about, but someone else steals it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've always worried about that too.
And that's a really, really messed up way to think about it. But you kind of got to think about it. You know what I mean? Because there's people out there, like, there's people out there that aren't, going to try and take that idea. But that's the world we live in, and unfortunately, that's just the way it kind of has to go. And so for me, I really only see, like, when I'm talking to someone, like, is me sharing this going to be something that's going to, benefit me? Like, what is this going to do? Is just going to give me oh man, that's cool. It's not really benefiting me.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, actually. I never thought about that. What's the purpose of sharing it with somebody? I always say that you should focus on the why behind your decisions. And I never did when I looked at sharing my dreams with somebody. I never really focused in on why am I sharing this with them and what is my desired outcome. My mother always says that, and it's such a rich concept to think about. What is your desired outcome by sharing this dream or by even doing certain things in your life? One of the things that you touched on earlier, and you said we'd save it for a different day, you'll have to forgive me, but I kind of want to talk about it now, which was sharing your dreams with good people. I think even people with great intentions for you can still provide information that provides or leads to a negative outcome for you, because their information is not necessarily invalid, but it may be invalid in regards to you. It could be a deterrent from your dreams. Like, let's say, for instance, you went ice skating 10 years ago, and when you went ice skating, you fell through the ice. Now, I am destined to be an Olympic level ice skater, and you and I meet tomorrow. And on this particular day that we meet, you come up to me and you're like, hey, man, it was so nice to meet you. Like, I hope we get to spend more time together. And I'm like, dude, man, you know what? I've really valued our connection. I want to tell you something. I'm planning to be an Olympic level ice skater one day. And you go, dude, no, it's extremely dangerous. You have the best intent in mind for me. You want me to succeed in life by not dying, which was the experience that you almost had. But unbeknownst to you and unbeknownst to me, I was destined to become an Olympic level ice skater and change the lives of millions of young individuals and old alike. So I think that it's really imperative that we recognize that when you share things with people, not only do you want to understand A, why you're sharing it, B, what your desired outcome is, but C, you need to also factor in the perspective whether you share it with them or not. You need to factor in the perspective that maybe the information that they give to you, although with the best intent, may not be bespoke to you as an individual. I think that's a missed topic a lot of times. Like, how often do you share a dream with somebody and they start to tell you all of the things that could go wrong? And you're like, man, this is a good person in my life, but now I've just walked out of here and I feel demotivated. I don't feel as though I can even achieve what I went after. And now you're set back. Like, you're already hard enough on yourself. And I think that points to maybe a potential reason as to why you were sharing it in the first place. Maybe you needed external validation for you to be able to start on your journey.
That's what I was going to say. It's honestly what I was going to say. It's like, I feel like a lot of the times, and this may be different for other people, but I feel like a lot of the times the reason why you're sharing your dreams with people is because you just want the validation. You want the validation of, oh, that's so cool. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. Oh my gosh, like, what, how are you able, you want the validation of knowing your dream is almost unattainable to anyone else. That it's, your dream is your dream and only your dream only. And for me, it's like, I completely understand it. I 100% understand it, because my dreams are definitely one of those things that I wanted to just feel cool about it, even though I hadn't even started. Just wanted to know that I was associated with it. That it's like, oh my gosh, you want to do that? That's so cool. And I'm just like, oh, I feel so dope about this. But it's like, you haven't done jack anything, Andrew. You just want to be associated with it. And so for me, it's like, now I take the approach of working in silence and then just letting my work be what people see. So when it comes to my dreams, it's like doing everything behind closed doors, doing with you guys, doing it in silence. And it's like, once we do get there, it's like just letting my work speak for itself.
Wow. I'm so sorry. We just have to stop for a moment because there was a bar in there. You want to be associated with a success you have not yet achieved. That's crazy. Like, I don't know why that just registered so well with me personally. I've done that a number of times. I've done that so many times. And oftentimes it doesn't even come off right. It looks like you're just boasting about something you haven't done.
Yeah, it's like, who said it? And I don't want to quote him. And it's this kind of correlates, but it's like, when people say this thing sounds so bad, but when people are like, oh, I'm a bodybuilder, or a power lifter, or like in some specific sport, but they've never competed in it.
That's me. I've never.
No, but it's like
they were talking about me.
but honestly, it's like, and who said? I think it was Russell. Right? He said he's like, you can't state that you're in specifics to powerlifting. He's like, you can't state that you're a powerlifter. He's like, you can state that you train powerlifting, like you do powerlifting, but you're not a powerlifter if you haven't competed in an actual competition. And I was like, and I sat on that and I was just like, this guy's like, I understand what he's saying, Like I get it.
Do you agree with that?
To some extent, yes. Just because even it's like, in his perspective, he's like, you're training to do this, but how, like, if you're an actor and you've never been in a show, can you say that you're an actor if you've never been in a show? If you've never been, whether it is on a show on TV, whether it is on, stage, whether it is you do acting, but are you actually an actor if you've never genuinely been on screen or on a stage?
Yeah, let me play devil's advocate. If I said that I was a bodybuilder and I had an extremely well sculpted body that would potentially rank top 10 in IFBB Pro, right, or Olympia even, I'm going to date myself. That's definitely not me, by the way. We're not talking about me. But let's say that I was in that particular type of physique and I had an extremely great posing routine. I just had simply not competed. Could I still consider myself a bodybuilder? I would think I could.
Well, same thing if you do jiu-jitsu. If you're really, really good, but you've never done a competition, you can still beat some.
Yeah, I could still definitely say I am a practitioner of jiu-jitsu.
Practitioner.
But I guess I couldn't say I am. I understand what Russell was saying too, because he's a brilliant guy.
Yeah.
I understand exactly what he meant by it, which is like you haven't tested it in an arena that is respected by your peers.
Because even back to what you're saying, as in bodybuilding, IFBB Pro, those standards, brother, they change. They just recently changed quickly. Yeah. So it's like if you're saying that this person's a bodybuilder, they're IFBB Pro, but it's like, have you tested it? Have you gone out and competed and done the shows, gotten your pro card, went to the Olympia, competed against the best of the best? Yeah. If you, I can say, and you can be admired by everyone else that's not at your level. You can have an amazing sculpted body, but if you haven't competed in it, it's like, can you really say? You know what I mean? And when he said that out,
took you back. I think I could also understand a perspective of somebody who has done the work to build a posing routine, who has done the work to cut their weight down to scary body fat percentages, right? 5, 6, 7% body fat. I could understand how somebody who flew halfway across the country just to do a pro show, would be upset by some guy who just lifts in the gym, who has a great looking body, but just lifts in the gym saying he is a bodybuilder. It means something different to different people, right? Like, I personally train jiu-jitsu, and I personally train Muay Thai, and I personally am learning weapons trainings and things like that. But if I went up to a Navy SEAL and when I'm a warrior, he'd probably be like, "Come on, doggy." You know what I mean? Like it would have, like, it depends on the room you're in, but I think that's also a key testament to life, to have grace, like, which I think Russell does for sure. I think he also, but I understand the concept of what he was going for. Like, to what degree are you spouting off at the mouth about things that you have not even begun to embark on? Because I don't think he's actually talking about the dude who's really chiseled, who really did cut his body fat but just hasn't competed. I think he's talking about the people who aren't showing up at all, or showing up extremely inconsistently, who are disgracing the name of what it actually is. I think that's kind of what he was probably, I haven't seen that particular section, but I think that would have made me sit down too. Did that resonate with you on a personal level? Did you feel like that was something you were doing? Let me ask you a different question. Why did it resonate with you?
I think for me, it just resonated with me and thinking differently about stuff as far as like right now, my goal for next year, or even my goal in the near future, hopefully, is to step on stage, like hands down. Like that's my goal. When my coach says I'm ready, then I'm following him. I train bodybuilding, that doesn't make me a bodybuilder. The way I thought about it in a more macro level is when it came to just life itself, like saying I'm in this category, that category, and being like, man, like, if I haven't put in the work and actually accomplished anything, then how can I say that I'm in that category, if that makes sense? And it was just more of like, I'm trying to think of a good example without, giving too much information, but it's like...
Can I ask you a question? I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to hear what your thoughts are. There's Joe Rogan, right? Who's in the 1% of podcasts. And then there's us, who after episode 20 or 30, technically ended up in the 1% of podcasts. Are we still podcasters? We're not Joe Rogan.
We're not Joe Rogan. We're our own podcast. Do we do podcasting 100%? Have we been consistent with it 100%? Statistically,
Are we podcasters?
100%. Are we a part of that? And statistically, are we statistically based off of what we've seen? Are we a part of that point? What was it? 0.001%? Because we're still posting consistently.
Yeah, but you see where I'm going with this?
No, I completely I agree. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
And I like to push it a little bit because I like to. Do we really believe what we're saying? Is kind of what I'm.
I get what you're saying, and I guess other people will look at this and be like, well, because I'm sure Joe Rogan probably makes some sort of money off of his podcast. Makes a lot.
Oh,
he makes a lot. So as far as podcasting, does the standard mean you're a podcaster once you start bringing in a revenue?
Yeah, like when you quit your day job, or
if that's the standard, then no, we're not podcasters.
Who sets the standard?
Exactly. Who sets that standard for podcasting?
Who sets that standard in general? Like, I really respect what Russell said.
Yeah.
Okay. But in my mind, Andrew bodybuilds because you show up meticulously and do the craft. Period. End of sentence. You show up meticulously and do the craft. The degree to which you've succeeded from a metric designed by a larger conglomerate, I think, is a completely different story. And what I would once again want to reiterate is I think what he may have been referring to, and you'll have to show me this clip because I want to see this. What I think he may have been referring to is people who don't invest themselves fully into the ideas and the goals that they spout audaciously from the rooftop.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think as far as who sets the standard or who determines what it is, I think it's just based off of the person too.
So it's you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's probably me. And I think for me, it's allowed me to, like you said, show out and show up for myself meticulously in the way I do things. I think people can say it's just a mental way of you motivating yourself. Probably. Honestly, probably. But I know for my mindset and how I've tackled different things, it's that. It's like, I'm going to associate myself with something, then it's because I'm going to go ahead and do it. Like, aside from bodybuilding, wanting to, have I talked about this? I'm pretty sure I've talked about this. You wanting to do just something for fun, like a triathlon. Just for fun.
Who said that?
I said that.
Oh, okay.
Just something for fun. And it's like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Who's we?
Me and you.
When you start learning French. That's crazy.
But do something like that, you know what I mean? And it's like, I'll be, when the time comes, training for that, but I can't, I think it's just a mental thing. I think it's just one of those things that it's like to motivate myself, to tell myself and let me be like, shoot, I've done all this training and I've done all this hard work that I've now competed and, have placed, that I can now say, I'm a fucking bodybuilder. And it's all the waking up at 5 a.m. to go do cardio 5 times a week. It's the going to work, the meals, missing out on all the dope food, training after, sleep. It's all of that.
Yeah.
To be like, now I'm here. Like this is the feeling. Now I'm a part of a category of people that's have put in the hard work and sweat to gain that title.
That is the piece that I respect. The piece that I really respect, and I first want to say that I believe that your idea of who you are should be decided by you and you alone. Now, there is definitely a certain level of insanity to believing that you are the president of the United States and you are not the president of the United States, right? There is a certain amount of insanity to believing you're like, if I were to say tomorrow, I am a top tier practitioner of jujitsu. I am not a top tier practitioner of jujitsu. I am not in the 1%, the 2%, the 3%, the 50% of people who train jujitsu, right? But on top of that, I also respect when individuals come together and say, let's create a standard for this craft and let's see who rises above that standard and who reaches a level of excellence that we as a collective determine is worthy of titling, whether that be a pro card or a medal for competition in any facet. I would 100% respect those individuals who go that extra mile, and I take my hat as off to you. I think that those are exceptional individuals. As we end here, I do want to say I think it does tie in nicely to the very beginning. Not only are your goals things that you should keep extremely private, but your successes within them, I think you should keep private too. Because when you enter this world, everybody will tell you who you should and should not be. And it is of my understanding that the true measure of a man or a woman is determined by them.